Hello, hello, hello. It's Anne Lewis, your independent Stamping Up demonstrator based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. Tonight I'm going to be showcasing this gorgeous card. Whoops, going the wrong way. It's been one of those days, I think. It's been one of those weeks, I think, but that's okay. I've got multiple cameras going, so sometimes they don't all line up with where I want them to. Hiya, if you are watching, please let me know whether you can see and hear me, because for those my regular watchers, there have been some technical issues. Not what I'm doing. Somehow my streaming service is not connecting really well. So anyway, this is what we're making tonight. Now it looks very, very ordinary from the front. And that's probably what the secret is to this card. Are you ready? This is a ooh ah Glen McGrath. If you come from Australia, you'll know what that means. Okay, so when you open up this card, it opens up into a box. So see how it's got that box shape? And so in here, I've actually decorated, so it's a 3D card. I've actually put a Christmas tree in and I've decorated it a little bit. So let's get started. I think you'll like this card. I've added the measurements to both the description of the live tonight, and also I've reposted on Facebook so that you, not so much that you can follow along. This is one of those cards, I think, that you see how it's made and then you watch it again and do step by step, because it is, I've rated it as a stepped up card, because I think just with the scoring and to get that box in, I felt that it needed a little bit extra. So let's get going. I'll just put you down to my desk and hopefully everything's working. Rightio, here we go. So I've got some measurements here, which, as I said, were included in the description. So there's no need to take a photo of this, but if you wanted it, just send me a message and I can send you a PDF or send you the link to the PDF is a better way of saying that. Now, wait a minute, I'll just come up here, just check that everything's happening, which I hope it is. Rightio, so you've got two ways of making this card. I'm going to be showing you how to make the one with a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So this is 12 inches by 5.5 inches, but you can just as easily make it with A4. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I've got the measurements for the A4 cardstock as well as the 12 by 12 cardstock in the description, and I'll tell you how to do the A4. Even though I'm not showing you, it's really easy to understand, because the A4 cardstock version has two additional pieces that make up for the little strip that's missing when you haven't got 12 by 12 paper. Hi Glenda, how are you? I'm hoping that you can see and hear me. Now, so as I said, these are your two options. Now, I've actually written it on the cardstock here. Hopefully you won't see it on the finished card, but I'm going to be doing the 12 by 12 piece, and I have cut this already at 5.5 inches by 12 inches. And then I'm going to be, which I don't think I have put anywhere. Maybe I have. Yes, I have. I'm going to also be scoring, and I'll just show you how I've done it. 1/2 inch, 4 inches, 4.5 inches, and 8 inches. Doesn't matter whether you're using the A4 size or the 12 by 12, you're still scoring in exactly the same place. The difference is you won't have such a large piece here. And we make up for that bit here with those extra two pieces of basic white cardstock. Rightio. So let's get going. Can you hear me, Glenda? Hopefully you can leave a message so that I can see. Rightio, so let's get going. I'm going to grab my trimmer. And I know I've already scored this, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, the old story, wanted to double check. So I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. Now for me, I always do the 1/2 inch on the right hand side of the cutting blade because then I've got this line to keep this nice and straight. So, but you don't have to. So we'll just do a little pretend on here. First thing is actually, wait a minute. Thanks, Glenda. Hasn't been good the last couple of weeks, and I haven't done anything different this time. Rightio, so you're just using your scorer, going up and down there, that 1/2 inch. Then I would turn it around and I will score it at 4 inches. Let's do that. 4.5 inches. All right. And then I'll have to extend this out a little bit. This is where I might have to put this sideways. And then at 8 inches. So my 8 inches is sitting here. So I'll just line this up and score at 8 inches. Push, push, push. Rightio. So I've got it nicely scored. Now, as I said, if you're using A4 paper, this little panel here will be slightly shorter and about 1.5 inches shorter. Rightio, I'll show you how they both come together. Now, just for Glenda, just in case you missed it, this is the card. So very plain on the front, and then open it up, and you've got this great box card, and it fits in an envelope. And look how special that is. And it's so 3D because you can see I put an actual window sheet in there. Oh, I wonder what I did with my window sheet. It was here somewhere. I was just thinking that then. I put it somewhere very safe early in. Oh, there it is. No, it's not. I will just grab another piece for the window sheet, but that's okay. So you can see how gorgeous that is. And you could put anything in that layer. You could put, a bunch of flowers, die cut flowers. You could do what I did. Let me introduce you to the designer series paper that we're using tonight. I'll just clear this out. So we're using a little Christmas. Now, if you're a demonstrator, you have had access to the pre-order, which is one of those little perks of being a demonstrator, is you get the goodies earlier than everybody else. But if not, if you're not a demonstrator, that means that in that first Tuesday in September, you will be able to order these. Now, you can see which piece I put behind. Wait a minute, let's make this a little easier. So these you can cut out and use to decorate the cards. This is the back, the B side. It's the A side. So I've used that Christmas tree. I'm hoping to see more of that Christmas tree because I changed up my die cut on the center. So there's one piece. That's the off piece. As I say, the A piece, the B side. Now I always say the A and the B side. The difference between them for me is the A side is the patterned one, and the B side is more normally geometrical. Not always. This is one of my favorite pieces. I don't know why. It's gorgeous. There's no foils or anything here. Look at these cute little mice. I love this paper. It just is so, so cute. So it's got these little bows. It's got two, I call this plaid, but I could be wrong. Two plaid pieces. That's the other one. So you can see they're very similar. One's green, one's red. So let's get started. So I've just got to make sure I don't lose anything, because you don't want to do that, do you? So we'll go back to the card. So I'll show you how this is going to come together. So you get a picture of how this works. Right, so I'm going to grab my bone folder. I'm going to turn this over. So that's the 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to kind of keep turning it like this. So at the 4-inch score line, I'm going to do that. Then the 4.5 inch one, I'm going to do this. Now you could use, I've used thick 12 by 12 basic white cardstock, but you could use our standard, and you can even use white willow, which is our thinner cardstock, but I would definitely be treating it as an A4, that it used the design for A4. And then what's going to happen, so you can picture this, so that's how the card is at the moment. Let's put this one in here, right? Now, what is going to happen is we're going to put that there. That's going to sit up like that. So this is this side here. This is this side here. Hopefully they're all the same. They look differently because they're not decorated. And this will be the card front. So I'm not going to put it together because I've got a bit of work to do here first, because I want to decorate in here before I stick it together. I also want to die cut this piece here. So as I said, I'm using the Everyday Arches dies, which are one of my favourites. For the first time ever, I'm not using stylish shapes. Not the first time ever, but the first time for a long while. Now, what is going to happen is the inside designer series paper layer. So this is how it's labelled on those instructions. We're going to stick this in first. This is kind of like step 1, right? I'm going to stick that on, and you can see the sizing there. It's 5 3/8 by 3 3/8. Remember, all those measurements are included. Let's get rid of that. Are included in the description. Now, because I just want to show you something, because I'm going to be die cutting this, I want to put adhesive all over the back, because I need it also stuck around where that die cuts. So let's go and add a little bit more. This is the perfect project for me because, I have a glue fetish. I use a fair bit of it. Except I've run out. I know, so I can stick this on. That'll just give it a couple of minutes to dry. Anyway, so remember this piece. So I've got the 1/2 inch score line. Then this piece here is where this layer goes on. So it goes between the 2 1/2 inch tabs. So let's just put it in there. Now, I didn't leave a big border here because I just didn't think it worked as well. But your paper, you may just need to change up the borders a bit for this piece. Now, I always get my bone folder and make sure that's nicely stuck down. Now, what's then going to happen, remember that's going to go there. I'm going to die cut this piece out. But before I decide to die cut it, because this die, I want to make sure that I've got the right piece in there in the right place. So again, I'm going to be using exactly the same one, but I could have used any of these. It's very tempted to use this one or the study. There are a lot of options. I'm going to use the Christmas one again. Now, look, I could use my trimmer to cut this out, but I'm going to be using, a pair of scissors. It's pretty easy. There's nothing difficult about cutting this. So a pair of scissors are quick and easy. Trimmer's quick and easy too. And you're not going to see that edge anyway. So if it's not perfect, it's hidden inside the card. Now, so take a look at those measurements. This is going to sit here. But as you see, my score lines are here and here. So I need to narrow it down. Now, depending on what you put here, whether you cut one side, not the other side, doesn't really matter. You get to decide. I just need to make sure that this is smaller than that piece there. I'll just measure that so that you know that is just under 3.5 inches. It's really 3.5 inches, but those score lines just squinch a little bit up. So it's just under 3.5 inches. So as long as this piece here is less than 3.5 inches wide, it'll be fine. It's perfect in length. I don't have to do anything there. Now, if you're a centimetre user, which is would probably be the only measurement I give in centimetres, you're probably going to cut it to about 8 centimetres. So let's get going. I don't necessarily need my Christmas tree right in the centre here. So let's move this up a little bit. I'm going to put it on the side so you can see what I'm doing. So remember I want it less than 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to slide it over a little bit and cut down here. Where's my cutter? Right. Now my Christmas tree isn't in the centre. My die cut will be in the centre, but it doesn't matter if it's a little off. Now, so let's bring this back over here. So I'm just going to sit it here. Remember, this is what my arch is going to show when I cut out this top piece. So I want the little star there. Of course, mine will be in the middle. So that takes the Christmas tree a little off center, which I think is nice. If you try and put everything centered, looks a bit boring. Hi, Savon. How are you? Lovely to see you. Yeah, so just in case, so that you can see what we're making this card, so plain on the front, but when it opens up, it turns into a box card, so it's 3D. So you can you see my finger in there? So this gives you that gorgeous depth, and it still fits into a standard card base, standard envelope. So am I sticking this down? Yes, I am. Been one of those distracting days today. So you're going to lose those measurements. So I just place it in the center, top and bottom, side to side. But depending on what you put in here, you could put even just a plain sheet of fancy designer series paper. You could die cut out some images, could be flowers, could be whatever your paper, whatever your stash says. So that's going in there. Now, before I stick it all together, I'm going to do those things that I like doing. I'm going to be adding, oh, scissors fell. I'm going to be adding some of these super cute, which are also released at the start of September. What are they called? Christmas epoxy shapes. Have a look. Oh, I've got to take them out. These are gorgeous. Super, super, super gorgeous. So there's some stars, gold stars, and then there's also some candy canes. And let's get rid of that busy bit. Some candy canes, some little hanging decorations. Now look at these gorgeous presents here. So I'm not going to use a lot of them because I've got to say these aren't the cheapest. There's not a lot in this pack. I don't want to get too carried away. Where's my pokey tool? Here it is. Okay, so let's put, I should have put this down a little lower, to be honest. But anyway, I've stuck it down now. Hopefully I don't waste this little star here when I do my die cutting. So these just add a little bit more. Now I'm going to add a couple of blue ones just so that I've got some red ones left. So just adding a few more little ornaments. Not going to add too many, just 3. Now, I added red ones to the first one, hence why half of them are missing. But then I'll add some candy canes as well. Oh, where will I put this one? Out here. Siobhan's saying she wished she had have ordered them. Yeah. I have to say, I've got to add some candy canes. They are they're pretty special. Let's add a couple of red ones and a couple of green ones. Not that it needs too much here, but it does, a little bit extra detail. Yeah. Whoops, I lost one. I have to go and find, oh, there he is. I'm trying to escape. Mm. And I'll add a little green one. It escaped as well. So they obviously fly if you flip them off like I am. Hopefully I'll find that one later. Let's add. I know, be a bit more careful this time. They've got a decent back, adhesive back, so they're really easy to use. So I'll throw this one over here. Huh, oh, up there. Rightio. Now, what I'm going to do is add some of those presents, but what I want to do is let's die cut out this front piece first. Now, let's make sure that this is all up the right way because that's a little trick. Hi, Kerry, how are you? That's a little trick for the unwary. So pick your idea. You're going to turn this over. Then you're going to run it in through single layer. Now, because I've already decorated this side, now I could have done it in the other order. I'm only going to make sure that I'm die cutting into this part. I don't want to go put all the pressure on those gorgeous little ornaments there and have them crack. Now, I've got a problem with my arm with my wrist at the moment. So I'm going to be using an electronic die cutter. So I'm just going to walk away here. It'll only take a couple of secs. Just make sure I've got it up the right way again. Oops. Don't want me to tell you what I just did. Didn't concentrate. Let's see how hardy those little ornaments are. Those little ornaments are really hardy. So there was no issue with that. Rightio. So this is my piece. I'm going to pop that out. So now you can see how gorgeous that tree is. Now, I do want to explain something to you. On this one, I use the little die that comes with the Christmas mice dies. That one there, isn't it gorgeous? But it was just a little small. And I decided I wanted something that had a little bit more impact. As much as I love the arches, I went for something with a little more impact. So that's why I changed that up. But you could use rectangular dies here. You could also use the branching out, which are with the little corners cut out. You could also use, we've got some new ones coming, which has got scalloped edges. So use what you have. You don't need to get something special to cut this piece out. But doesn't it look amazing? Now, before I seal it up, let's just do a couple more things. Like, you know me, Winker Stella, do have a bit of a fetish for it. Let's do the rest of those little ornaments so they've got a bit of sparkle to them. I know. think I need to put a little bit more Stella on this, but that's okay. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see a lot of sparkle there. You can see a little bit of sparkle, but not a lot. But it just adds something a little bit more interesting. Now, I know I've told you this before, but the interesting thing is that the definition of art, and I saw this, and not that I'm claiming my cards are art, but art is something that when you look at, you see something new each time. And that's one of the reasons I like adding Stella, some of those other little interesting bits, because it means every time whoever gets your card picks it up, they go, oh my good, I didn't even know that was actually sparkling as well. Now, what I am noticing is that my Wink of Stella was a little dry. For those that aren't used to using it, there's a little push thing here so you can push a little bit more through. Now, you can see it come down the barrel. Never, ever, ever start pushing when it's over your project, because if it squirts out and you get too much in there, do you know what happens? You get a great mess. So I always do it over my paper. I did squeeze a little harder than I needed to. Going to also let this dry. Now I've got lots. I can pick it up. That's a lot better. Now I can see how gorgeous those actually are. I've got some more there. Hopefully you can see this. You might be able to see it. Now it came out on my paper up there, as you see, but did no harm. And I'm just picking up. Oh, did a bit much because I was looking at the screen at the same time. Now I can actually do some of these little, because I've got a bit here to waste. So I'm just doing the stripes, not being that particular about them, just adding a little bit of interest so that when someone winks this, hence the name Wink of Stella, you'll actually see it. So maybe you'll be able to see. Let's see. Oh, now you can see how it's gone shiny. And doesn't that picture just work perfectly for this? Yeah, so we're now going to put this together. But before I do, let's decorate this, because it's easier to decorate now than it is later. Now I've got this piece left over. I'll use that for another card. So first off, I'm going to, who knows, because I cut this one a different size because I used a bigger die, so it's got a bigger opening. But let's add a Merry Christmas to this. And I'm going to use Mossy Meadow because it's a bit darker. Now, I'm going to fussy cut this. Now, you know that when I fussy cut, I don't do too much fussying, and I just zip around it. So let's get going. So, oops. So the secret is for this, maybe I'll get rid of this so you can see what I'm doing. The secret to this is fussy cutting is to move the paper. You don't have to get too fancy. I just keep adding curves when I need to. It's an easy way to add a little bit of interest, especially to a nice sentiment like Merry Christmas, because it's got a lot of ups and downs, capital letters, Y's. So, and there is no right or wrong. Let's just let you know that. Righto. Throw that away. So how about we put that up there? Now, I just want to show you. On this one, I added a window sheet, and I needed to support that door. Right? This one, I don't need a window sheet, but I think it'll look better because it'll add even more sparkle. But, so I'm going to put that up there. I'm not going to pop up using dimensionals anything on the inside because I want it to, when it squishes down, I want it to lie flat. Now, there is a little secret I've got to tell you about to make this sit really well. It's all those little tips and tricks that make card making look professional. It's not hard. It's just knowing those tips and tricks. So here we go. Could have cut that out a little better, but that's okay. Okay, now on this one, on the original card, I added this gorgeous little mouse. But before I close this up, let's add a piece of window sheet. Now, I did have a piece out, but because it's clear, can't actually see it now. I'll find it when I clean up. It'll be sitting right in front of me because I know I put it in a really safe place. This is the perfect project for some of those little pieces of window sheet that you've got left over. Like this piece. As I said, as soon as I put this on, I know that I will find it. So I've got to cut it down a little bit. So I'll grab my trimmer again. Now, don't worry about what size this is because you have to make sure that it's the size of your opening, not the size of my opening. I'm not going to use the die cutter. I'm just using that as a bit of a guide. It needs to be a bit thinner. So I'm just trimming it off a little bit. So depending on which die you've used is how wide your window sheet will actually be. And I'll just check this. If not, I can always trim a little bit more of it off. Oh, it's perfect. Now, the easy way that I find to attach window sheets, there's a number of different ways you can. I'm just going to use some double-sided tape. Sorry about my arm. So I'm going to put it around the opening. Normally I use my ruler, which I still will. So I'm putting close to the edge of the die cut. This is where, keeping it fairly simple. Oh, and then we'll just run some down here. You're not making a shaky card, but you could actually. Never thought of that idea. But let's keep it as simple as we can. Oh, I know I'm working off the page here. I know. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just checking your comments. Hi, Carol. How are you? Hi, Kirsty. Hi, So I've been missing your comments. Sometimes it's hard to craft and read comments and think ahead. I know. So with tear and tape, I always burnish it first, which makes it pull off easier. Don't want to. Oh, see, I told you, soon as I cut this piece, I would find it, and sure enough, I did, but it wasn't big enough anyway. So let's take this off. Oh, having trouble with one end, try the other end. Now remember, nobody's going to see this because this is on the inside of the box. And I'm going to add, remember those couple of little presents down the bottom? But I'll wait till I put it together. So here's my window sheet. Make sure it's nice and clean. Make sure that when you apply it, it doesn't go over those score lines. Otherwise, your card won't fold properly. So again, I don't want to put my fingers all over this. I'll just do that. Let's see whether you can tell the difference. Does look better, doesn't it? Looks like it's behind a window now, which I like a lot better. Now, so I want to now add, because I know where these are going to line up. I'm not going to get too carried away. Just a couple of little, I'm not going to flip these from one end of the craft room to the other either. So let's just put one little one there. And maybe one of these pool party ones. Let's hope I don't flick it everywhere. Maybe just sitting. Nope, maybe we put it up there. Hopefully you can see it. Rightio. So now I've decorated the inside. Oh, I did add to this one, and you really can't see them very well, but I added some stars in behind there just to add a little bit of interest. Now, another technique I could have done, and I might do this. Oh, I don't know. Where's my Stella? It's walked. Not sure. But I could have flicked some colouring because I feel that background is just a little plain. Let's see if I can. I've got a shimmer brush here. Let's see. You know, I should protect things. And I mean my card, especially this side here, because you're going to see it. But I don't want it on that window sheet either. What else have I got here that I can, what other scrap? Got another old piece of paper here. So let's put stuff on it. So let's see if I can just add a little more interest. Now, you don't have to do these things, but it just, I haven't actually flicked this before. Not sure it's flicking. Oh, there's a little bit of flick, but not a lot. And I probably wouldn't do that again because it's going to ruin my edge. But my Stella, look, I've got a new Stella here, I think. Let's see if I can flick this. Oh, it's very fine. That's okay. I know, I haven't made a mess, haven't ruined anything. So now I want to put this card together. Now, at this stage, whether you're doing the A4 one or the 12 by 12, this is all working exactly the same, even up to this step here. The only thing is your piece here will be a little smaller. So let's put this together. I'm going to use, again, some tear and tape because I just want to straighten that edge up a little bit because I want it to be strong. I don't want this to, yep, I want to put it as close to let's put it here, as close to that fold that I can. I know it's tear and tape, but let's just keep that edge very nice. Now, there's one more thing that I have to do. I just want to make sure that I'm doing this in the right order. Yes, I am. So I'm going to peel this off. This piece down. Peel off. There we go. Now, I'm going to, so you've got this box side over here. I'm going to push this over here. Right, so it's flat. Leave this flat. And then I can just fold this over and stick that down. Now, this is one of those secret little tips. Can you see how that's a little not kind of sitting exactly like I want it to? So let's grab your bone folder to reinforce what I've just stuck down, but also it fixes this, it just changes that egg just a little bit so it sits a little nicer. And then you'll see it's sitting a lot better even when I let it go. Rightio. So there's the inside done. So it's, as you see, it's not that difficult. Now I decided this is where I would be writing my sentiment or my message if I wanted to. Could use the back. Now remember, I put it through with those little ornaments, so it's left a little mark, but that's okay. Let's grab the cherry cobbler, and I'm going to, from that same Christmas mice. What I love about this, it's got two little mice, two mice. That would be the right English language. It's got a little beanie, it's got some presents. It's got this really gorgeous little string of lights. It's got a wreath that you can colour, Santa hat, which I always love that, a scarf, bow, Chrissy decorations, candy cane, and some really nice sentiments, which you're going to see. You've already seen the, oh, I didn't use the Merry, oh yes, I used the Merry Christmas from there. And I'm also using on the front, sending little moments of joy and cheer. Right, so let's just put in, I'll show you what I'm doing. Just going to put that there just to decorate that inside piece. Now, when I know who I'm sending this to, I might add a little bit more. Now, I want this to hang over the edge so it doesn't look like it's hanging in midair. Rightio, that works. Now, I went back in and you saw me use this. Going to let that dry and then I'll just colour those little lights with the golden glow shimmer brush. Now, let's decorate the front. It is simple. Now, before I do the front, I just want to show you on this one, I did with A4 paper. And so what you want to do, you know that paper, those two extra pieces, where is my instructions? They're somewhere here. There were two extra, there they are, two extra pieces on here that said, the two pieces, 4 inches by 5.5. Now they go, remember, if you're using A4, it'll only come to there. So they actually build these two pieces out. So I've actually got three pieces there. And all you're going to do is, now I've taken this out of order, you're going to stick them on before you actually add this layer that I put on here. So, make your box. So you're just going to add those pieces on here. That gives it's a really strong card when you have three pieces, well, even more than three pieces. So you're just going to go up to your fold on the inside. Remember, you haven't assembled it, and the same on the front. So you would put it over here, and that'll just extend it. You'll understand when you've got an A4 piece. But I think the 12 by 12 makes this so much simpler. Let's go. The front is, the really simple part. So the front DSP is 3.5 by 5. It goes on the cherry cobbler, which is 3 5/8 by 5 1/8. So let's put that on now. Now, whatever you pick. You get to choose which part of the pattern. I just used the little piece that was left over. Siobhan, I'm always losing stuff, and you can guarantee that when I'm live, I will even lose stuff right in front of me. It would bite me on my nose. Our desk gets so full. There's a lot of different layers and stuff sitting on my desk. So I made the old olive a little bit different border, because I think that just adds a little bit of interest, a bit more interest than if all your borders are the same. So you can see this is going to sit on here. Let's make sure everything's sitting the right way. Got a little sentiment that I've heat embossed, which is the one I told you before. And I just went through my stash and found this die here from the Inspiring Imperfections, which I think is on the last chance sale, but it was just perfect for this. I'm going to pop this layer up. The girls are complaining about the fussy cutting. It was such a simple job. But there might be one more piece to come yet. We'll see. You can turn your eyes away from the next one. Making sure this is up the right way. Centering it on the basic white cardstock. Yours will be, if you've used A4, exactly the same size as mine by now. I know. There we go. Ooh, ooh, love this card. So I'm going to put this somewhere. I get to choose where it actually sits. The pattern kind of gets to choose where it sits. So I'm going to pop this up. So you can see I put it below the tree in the center. This one, completely different. I'm going to put below the little mouse. So the mouse is standing on it. Pop it up. Nothing difficult about this. There we go. Now, some of this really nice twine. Oh, I love this. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see how gorgeous it is. So it's red, green, and white. So I felt this needed just a little bit more interest on the front. It was looking a little boring. The middle of the card or the center of the card is the absolute hero of this. Just done a little bow there. Make it a little smaller. Grab some scissors. Now this is some twine that you can also make it fray. When I mean make it fray, use it as a design choice. If you're worrying about it fraying when you don't want it to fray, you can add a bit of glue to it and that'll stop that. This one's a little longer. Oh, you know what happens here, don't you? Now, this is thick twine. It's a lot thicker than our basic white twine or our neutrals, whatever. So I'm going to use some tear and tape. I'm finding it a little stronger and a little easier to use. And I've got some thin tear and tape here. It's a little smaller than the Stampin' Up one, but works perfectly for this. I'm only going to use a little bit. Now you can still use mini glue dots if you like. Oh, there's my. Let's see, must have got a few tools in front of me here. Anyway, so what happened to that bow? See, here it is. So I can stretch this out, pull it tight, and that, because this is so thick, nothing's going to hit any mist glue. I just want to pull that up. I know. So there's the front of the card. Now I got one more thing, and only because the girls complained, or the ladies complained, about some fussy cutting. So let's just have one last, if you choose to. Where is it? I'm looking for my piece of paper. I'm already. Oh, it's warped. I think you've hidden it from me. Yeah, I've got half a sheet somewhere. Here it is. Rightio. So on the inside, see, on the inside of this one, See, I got that one there. So I haven't got, oh, it's not that one. Oh, yes, it is. So I have one right in the center. So maybe I change it up and pick something. It was a little easier to cut. I don't know. Let's go all out. They're going to spend the time fussy cutting, and it only takes a couple of secs. Let's cut this down. I think I can cut this to 6 inches. I can. Look at that. It's made to do it. Then I'm going to cut out the little mouse, and you'll see how easy this little mouse comes together. I'll have to find a purpose for the leftover. It's a DSP. Who else fussy cuts their designer series paper out to take advantage of some of those gorgeous images on there? This one in particular. Now you can see I don't spend a lot of time. I just get close. All right. Now we'll go around the little mouse a little bit better. Not a lot. Don't spend a lot of time on this. It's fussy cutting. Fussy cutting. It's not killing yourself. I know some people who love fussy cutting and they use it to relax. That's not me. Let's go here. Jeanette said she liked that idea of using the tear and tape. Sometimes it's just a little more secure. But mini glue dots work with lots of with lots of places. Now, I'm not going to go down in there in between the mouse and the presents. Let's not get carried away. And then he's got these little hairs coming off the top of his head. I'll just cut around them. Keep his ears hopefully intact. A mouse without ears wouldn't be good. Now, on that first card, today I've used tear and tape. On that first card, even on the window sheets, I just used our green glue, or whatever you want to call it. Green glue, multi-purpose glue, combo, whatever you want. Let's get rid of those pieces of paper. You can see this was not a big job. Cut around the tail, cut around his feet. You don't want to cut them off, or her feet. So you can see that did not take long. Now, I've got a little bit left here that I've got to cut in. And it's fixed. Rightio. So let's find a place. Oh, I think it can go in the same kind of similar place. Maybe a little further over to the right this time. This time I'm going to use just some tear and tape. Not getting too carried away, but remember, if you use tear and tape, you get one chance and one chance only of getting it down in the right place. Because it's strong adhesive and it's not like green glue, which gives us some wiggle time. Righto. Let's have a look at this. I want his feet to be level, so he's not looking like he's about to fall. I missed a little bit up there. I'll just squiz a little bit of green glue You know it's going to come out in a big lot. There's none left in that one. Let's try this one. Oh, there we go. Video. So dear. So let's add a little bit more glue there as well. So perhaps I wouldn't. Oh, this one, there's plenty of glue coming out. I always have a rag for moments like this where I can take off most of the glue and it's going to say shove it down, but let's just place it gently down. Hi-yo, card finished. Now, so how gorgeous. That's how the front looks. Plain. Someone's going to get this card and they go, oh, nice card. That was a nice card from Anne. It's not a normal card. Oh, look at that. When she opens it up. So sentiment here. And I'm hoping you can see the sparkle behind that window of how it actually looks. So it is a little stepped up card, but it's not difficult because you've got the measurements. You can use your 12 by 12 paper, but if you don't have that, you can still use A4 paper. Just remember to add the layer on the front and on the inside before you make your square. I forgot to add that at the start. So I hope you like that card. So they're pretty similar. Little changes in between. Which do you like, the big window or the small gorgeous one with all the decoration at the top? It's actually a door. Comes with a door handle in the dies. Okay, so let me know which one you'd like. And if you ever come to classes, whether you'd like to make this card, because it might be one of the ones I add to a class sometime. Because I don't think it's difficult. It just takes a little bit of thinking through. It's a step-by-step one. Hi-yo. Thanks, everybody, for joining me tonight. And I appreciate your patience because I know this was scheduled for Wednesday night, but life has a way of springing things on you that you don't actually expect. So I'm going to bring you back up here. Don't forget, today is the last day for the double rewards. So what does that mean? That means that 10% of any orders over $35, this is in Australia, you get 10% back. So if you would normally get, say, $20, you are $20 in rewards, you'll actually get $40 in rewards. And some of our designer series paper, unfortunately, not our new paper that is yet to be released, is 15% off. So there's a double win-win, especially if you add some designer series paper to your order. Thanks, everybody. I love this card. I just love everything about it. And that's from somebody who always says, I have no spatial capacity. But this card is genuinely simple. It just needs step by step, and it's not a card you rush. Give yourself an hour to do the cutout, maybe a little longer. Do the cutout, and look, you've got a special card that looks amazing. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Carol's in for that class. Kirsty's in for that class. So we might see this one a little later in the year. Bye for now, everybody. See you next Wednesday night. And I appreciate you all. I hope you're going to craft. Let me know if you make this card.